Hi everyone, Chris and I were just discussing the buy-sell consumer and thought we'd share with you what we're seeing in our marketplace. Chris, we come across many homeowners in our marketplace that are looking to either upsize or downsize. Can you please explain the buy-sell scenario and how it impacts homeowners in our marketplace?
Yeah, sure. So the buy-sell scenario has really emerged over the last 3 to 4, maybe 5 years in our marketplace, and it's a market we see a lot of because we're predominantly dealing with both young families looking to make that move up or the older people looking to move down. So the market has essentially come about because buyers are scared to sell their home prior to finding the next home for themselves. What I mean by that is, in a rising market, as we had seen over the last 3 or 4 years, if you were to sell your home before finding your next move, you potentially get caught out and being priced out of your own market. A good example would be if you sold a semi, say, for $1.2 million and you're budgeting on the next move being a $1.6 million transaction, all of a sudden it became a $1.8 million transaction, leaving you short of that money or not finding that home and then really being priced out. Buy-sells in that rising market, what they started to do was like, well, I'm not going to sell because I can't be left homeless. So they started to look for the right home, buy that home, knowing the market's going up, so they knew they weren't going to be out of pocket. But what is now occurring is, with the more normal market conditions, that is probably not the safest option to do, because then you're kind of gambling with what your home may fetch.
Yeah. So Chris, you've been in the game for a while now. How have you seen the behaviours of buy-sells change over time?
Well, when I started in real estate nearly 15 years ago, the buy-sell was almost non-existent. People predominantly sold their home first, and then they went out and bought what they could afford with that purchase. After they've sold, they knew their money, how much they were playing with. The last boom we've just had, buyers obviously changed the way they did their behaviours, where they were happy to go off and buy first, knowing that they could get good money for their home. What this does now in the more normal market conditions is it increases the risk factor that your home may not achieve the price you thought it would achieve, and leaves you out of pocket. And with this tighter lending that we have now, if you're left short 100 or 200,000 from what you thought your home may achieve, you might get stuck and not be able to complete on a purchase, which puts you in a worse position, and probably a position that not many homeowners would want to be in.
Okay, so what you're recommending is that homeowners now flip that scenario and sell before they buy?
Yeah, definitely. Go back to that more traditional method, or where you sell your home, then you move on to making the purchase, knowing how much you have to spend, as opposed to kind of hoping to have X amount to spend. And it gives you more certainty, makes it less stressful. As a buyer, then you know exactly what you're spending with. We're seeing it at the moment where people who are buying first have that extra anxiety at the moment, because they're seeing not as many people come through the open homes and all that, and you don't want to be in that position.
Right.
And with tighter lending now, it just makes it even harder that if you are short, you might not be able to close that gap. Another key part is, when you are doing a transaction, whether you're upsizing or you're downsizing, if you do the transaction within a 6-month time frame, it minimises the risk of being exposed to the market conditions and missing out. So once you've made that commitment where I'm going to sell, as long as you then just as committed to make that purchase, it doesn't matter what kind of market you're in, it'll minimise you being exposed and being caught out of the market.
If you're a buyer or seller in the marketplace and you would love some assistance, feel free to reach out to either Chris or I. We're very happy to help. And this is the first of many interviews with the Lang & Simmons Rosebery team. If there are any topics you'd like covered, post a comment below and we'll cover that in the upcoming weeks.
Yeah.
Are we finished? Yes. First interview.